I didn't catch him cheating because I was suspicious. I caught him because he tried too hard to make Valentine's Day perfect. His name was Ethan, and the night he tried to prove how much he loved me was the same night everything finally made sense. My name is Claire, and Ethan and I had been together for 3 years. 3 years is long enough to stop impressing each other, long enough to stop checking yourself, long enough to believe you know who someone is, not just who they pretend to be. From the outside, we looked solid. We weren't dramatic. We weren't toxic. We weren't the couple people worried about. We shared an apartment. We split bills. We had routines that felt permanent. Sunday grocery trips. Wednesday takeout nights. Vacations we talked about but hadn't booked yet. Ethan liked stability. He liked being seen as reliable. He was the guy friends trusted with secrets. The guy coworkers described as safe. The guy who made a point of saying, "I'm not like other guys." And for most of our relationship, he proved it. That's the part people don't talk about. Cheaters aren't obvious at first. If they were, no one would stay. Valentine's Day wasn't supposed to be a big deal. We'd talked about it casually. "I don't need anything fancy," I said. "Just dinner." Ethan nodded immediately. No hesitation. No negotiation. Dinner. Dessert. Home. Simple. That should have been my first warning. About a week before Valentine's Day, something shifted. Not in a dramatic way. Not enough to justify suspicion. Just off. Ethan started waking up earlier than usual, leaving for work faster, coming home later, but with explanations ready. He wasn't distant. He wasn't cold. He was better. Too attentive. He brought me coffee every morning, even when he was running late. Texted me throughout the day with messages that felt rehearsed. "Thinking about you. Can't wait to see you tonight. You deserve everything." He started saying my name more often. "Claire, you okay? Claire, I don't tell you this enough. Claire, you make my life better." It should have felt reassuring. Instead, it felt like he was convincing himself. He planned Valentine's Day entirely on his own, something he'd never done before. When I asked where we were going, he smiled and said, "Trust me." And then there was his phone. Ethan used to leave it everywhere. Kitchen counters, bathroom sinks, couch cushions. That week, it never left his hand. If I entered a room, the screen went dark. If it buzzed, he checked it immediately. If I asked who it was, he answered too quickly. No one important. When I asked if something was wrong, he smiled and said, "Why would anything be wrong?" I let it go. Because when you love someone, you don't want to be the person who ruins things by asking too many questions. Valentine's Day arrived quietly. No nervous energy. No tension. Ethan seemed calm. Too calm. Dinner felt like a performance. The restaurant was intimate, candlelit. The kind of place where people celebrate milestones. Ethan ordered my favorite wine without asking, pulled my chair out, held eye contact longer than usual. Halfway through the meal, he raised his glass and made a speech about commitment, about how relationships take effort, about how lucky he was to have me. People at nearby tables smiled. I smiled too, and for a moment, I almost let myself believe that I'd imagined everything. When we got home, he kissed me longer than usual. Then, he said he needed to shower, and he left his phone on the coffee table. That never happened. The screen lit up. No name. Just a heart emoji. The preview read, "Did you tell her yet?" I didn't touch the phone. I stared at it, waiting for my brain to catch up to what my body already knew. Another message came in. "I hate sharing you, especially today." That sentence felt like something breaking inside me. I unlocked the phone. The messages weren't recent. They weren't new. They went back months. Good morning texts sent before he woke me up. Photos taken in places he told me he'd been alone. Conversations full of intimacy that wasn't supposed to exist. I kept scrolling, hoping to find an ending. Instead, I found her name, Lena. Then I found the reservation. Same restaurant, same night, earlier. He'd taken her first. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I felt calm in a way that scared me, like my brain had shut off emotions to preserve itself. Every strange moment from the past few months lined up perfectly. The late meetings, the sudden gym sessions, The way he sometimes seemed relieved when I wasn't home. I placed the phone back exactly where it was, and I waited. When Ethan came out of the shower, steam still clinging to his skin, he smiled like nothing was wrong. "Everything okay, Claire?" I looked at him and realized something that hurt more than the cheating. He really believed he was smarter than me. I smiled back. "Perfect," I said. We went to bed. He fell asleep in minutes. I stayed awake all night, not crying, not spiraling, replaying conversations, rewriting memories, realizing how often I'd defended him without being asked. By morning, something had shifted permanently. I wasn't angry. I was done. I didn't want explanations. I didn't want closure. I wanted distance. I waited until Ethan left for work. Then I packed, not emotionally, methodically. Clothes first, documents, personal items. I deleted shared photos, changed passwords, separated my life from his piece by piece. Before I left, I did one last thing. I sent screenshots to Lena. Every message, every overlap, every lie, with one sentence. "Happy Valentine's Day." Then I blocked Ethan on everything. He tried to reach me anyway. Calls from unknown numbers. Emails, apologizing. Voice messages breaking down. He said it was a mistake. He said it didn't mean anything. He said he loved me. But love doesn't look like duplication. Love doesn't require secrecy. By the time he realized I wasn't coming back, I was already gone, not just from his life, but from the version of myself that would have stayed. He thought he got away with it. He didn't, because the worst consequence isn't being exposed. It's losing access to someone who loved you honestly. And that was Ethan's Valentine's Day gift. This is the X-Files. Some love stories don't end, they expose. She got proposed to on Valentine's Day, just not by me. I didn't find out from her. I didn't hear it through mutual friends. I didn't even hear it from family. I found out because my phone buzzed while I was sitting alone in my apartment in Phoenix, Arizona, staring at a half-eaten takeout container I didn't feel like finishing. The notification was a photo, a diamond ring, a familiar smile, and a caption that made my chest go hollow. "Forever starts today." Her name was Natalie Brooks. And for 5 years, I thought I was the man she was going to marry. My name is Ryan Carter. And until that Valentine's Day, I believed my relationship was solid, just moving slower than everyone else's. Natalie and I met in Tempe when we were both finishing college. She was studying communications. I was in engineering. We bonded over late nights, shared stress, and the kind of conversations you only have when you're young and convinced everything will work out. Natalie was magnetic, warm, the kind of woman people gravitated toward without realizing why. When we started dating seriously, she told me she wasn't in a rush. "I don't need a ring right away," she said. "I just want something real." I believed her. For 5 years, I believed her. After graduation, we moved to Phoenix together. New jobs, new routines, a shared apartment that slowly filled with joint furniture and shared habits. We talked about marriage in a vague, future tense way. Eventually, when things settled down, after we're more stable, every time I brought it up, Natalie smiled and said, "I'm happy where we are." End quote. I told myself that was contentment. Valentine's Day was never a big deal for us. Natalie used to joke that it was for people who needed reminders. I agreed, mostly because agreeing was easier than pushing. That year, though, she acted different. Not distant, focused. She started dressing nicer for work, coming home later than usual, checking her phone more, but always smiling at it. When I asked if something was going on, she laughed it off. "You're imagining things," she said. A week before Valentine's Day, she told me she had a girls' weekend planned in Scottsdale ***. Just a break, she said. Spa stuff. Nothing exciting. She kissed me goodbye like always. Packed lightly. Didn't seem nervous. I didn't think twice. On Valentine's Day, I stayed home. Ordered food. Watched a game I barely paid attention to. Scrolled through social media without thinking. That's when I saw it. Natalie's friend had posted it first. A restaurant I didn't recognize. Candles, champagne, and Natalie, dressed up, smiling the way she used to smile at me. Then the second photo, loaded. A man on one knee, holding a ring, her hand over her mouth, her eyes wide. I stared at the screen like it was buffering. It wasn't. The caption read, "She said yes." I didn't breathe for a few seconds. I clicked the profile. The man's name was Evan. I recognized him immediately. A coworker, a name that had come up casually. Someone Natalie described as harmless. Someone she once said I was weird for asking about. My hands felt cold. The comments were already flooding in. "So happy for you. About time. We knew it. About time." That phrase landed harder than anything else. I called Natalie. Straight to voicemail. I texted, no response. An hour later, she called me. "Ryan," she said softly, "I didn't know how to tell you." "When?" I asked. Silence. "That's what I thought," I said. She tried to explain. She said things like, "It just happened. It wasn't planned. I didn't mean to hurt you." I laughed. Because proposals don't just happen, especially not on Valentine's Day. That's a choice, a plan, a decision made long before the question is asked. I asked her how long. She hesitated, then said, "Almost a year." I asked her why she stayed with me. She said, "I didn't want to lose you." That answer told me everything. She didn't want to lose me. She just didn't choose me. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't ask for closure. I told her I hoped she got everything she wanted. Then I hung up, and I stayed quiet. For days, I didn't post. I didn't tell friends. I didn't comment on the engagement. I let the celebration happen. I let the congratulations roll in. I let Natalie sit with the weight of what she'd done without me helping her carry it. Then I packed. I moved out while she was gone, left my keys on the counter, took what mattered. Before I blocked her, I sent one message. "You didn't replace me," I wrote. "You revealed yourself." Then I blocked her everywhere. A few weeks later, Evan messaged me. Not aggressively, not defensively. He asked one question. "How long were you together?" I sent proof. 5 years of photos, trips, holidays, messages. He read everything. Then he replied, "She told me you were her ex. They didn't get married." The engagement quietly disappeared. No posts. No explanations. Natalie tried to reach me for months. Apologies. Voice messages. Emails saying she'd made a mistake. I believed her, because the mistake wasn't choosing him. The mistake was believing she could keep me as a backup without consequences. She got proposed to on Valentine's Day, just not by me. And that's okay, because I learned something important. When someone keeps delaying a future with you, it's not because they're unsure. It's because you're not their final choice. This is The X-Files. Some love stories don't end. They expose. Valentine's Day was perfect. That's the part I still struggle to explain. Nothing went wrong. Nothing felt off. Nothing warned me. If you had asked me that morning, I would have told you I was happy. His name was Daniel Moore. My name is Sofia Alvarez. We lived in San Diego, California, a few blocks inland from the coast, in an apartment that always smelled faintly like coffee and ocean air. We'd been together for almost 3 years. Not dramatic years. Not chaotic ones. Comfortable years. The kind where people stop asking if you're still together and start asking when the ring is coming. Daniel and I met at a birthday party in La Jolla. I remember noticing him because he wasn't trying to be noticed. He stood near the kitchen, listening more than talking, laughing at the right moments without forcing himself into the center of the room. When we spoke, he asked questions. Real ones. Not small talk, not filler. That mattered to me. Daniel worked in logistics management. Structured job, predictable hours. Or at least, that's what he told me. I worked remotely as a digital designer, which meant I spent more time at home than he did. We moved in together after a year. No drama. No hesitation. It felt natural, We talked about the future, casually, not in timelines, not in deadlines, just assumptions. Someday, eventually, when it makes sense. Valentine's Day was never a huge thing for us. Daniel used to say it felt forced. I agreed, mostly because I didn't want to seem needy. That year was different. A week before Valentine's Day, flowers arrived at my apartment. Not grocery store flowers. Delivered, arranged, expensive. Daniel had never done that before. I told myself people change. The night before Valentine's Day, he suggested dinner somewhere. Special, ocean view. Reservation only. That also wasn't like him, but I didn't question it. I wanted to believe effort meant intention. Valentine's Day itself unfolded perfectly. He dressed nicer than usual, held my hand in the car, made jokes. At dinner, he talked about future trips, mentioned places we should see someday. He was present, engaged, focused. That mattered more than the gestures. When we got home, he poured wine, put on music, and said he had one more surprise. Then he stepped outside to grab something from his car. That's when his phone lit up. Daniel never left his phone behind. Not once in 3 years. The screen showed a message preview. No name, no emoji, just text. Did you make it home safe? I didn't touch the phone. I stared at it. Another message appeared. Tonight was perfect. My chest tightened. I unlocked the phone, and everything changed. The conversation wasn't flirtatious in a careless way. It was intimate, familiar, comfortable. This wasn't new. This wasn't a mistake. This was routine. Her name was Maya. She lived in Irvine, California, about an hour and a half away, far enough to keep lives separate, close enough to maintain them. I kept scrolling. Photos of dinners Daniel had told me were work meetings. Trips, he said, were solo resets. Voice notes filled with warmth I thought was reserved for me. Then I found the calendar, color-coded, one color for me, one color for her. Appointments, overnights, planned gaps, no overlaps, no accidents. That level of organization doesn't happen by chance. That's a system. When Daniel came back inside, holding a small gift bag, smiling like nothing in the world had changed, I already knew everything. You okay? He asked. I smiled. Perfect, I said, because shock doesn't always look like emotion. Sometimes it looks like stillness. That night, I didn't confront him. I watched him fall asleep, peaceful, unbothered, like someone who believed he had complete control. The next morning, he left for work like always, kissed my cheek, told me he loved me. I waited until the door closed. Then I started researching. Social media, tagged photos, locations. Maya wasn't hidden. She was public. Daniel just lived 2 public lives that never crossed. They'd been together for 2 years. 2, which meant our timelines weren't overlapping by accident. They were designed that way. I didn't message her immediately. I waited, because information hits harder when it's precise. I gathered everything. Screenshots, dates, proof. I let Daniel text me, still thinking about last night. Can't wait to see you later, I replied normally, because normal kept him careless. That evening, I sent Maya one message. Hi. I think we need to talk about Daniel. She responded. Within minutes, I was hoping you'd reach out. We compared stories, matched timelines, shared screenshots. Then she sent a message that made me laugh out loud. He told me you were his cousin. With that, no. Cousin. The creativity was almost impressive. Daniel didn't have an affair. He had 2 full relationships, 2 Valentine's Days, 2 futures, 2 women planning around the same man. Maya and I didn't fight. We didn't insult each other. We aligned, and alignment is dangerous to someone who survives on separation. That night, I packed, calmly, deliberately, I removed myself from his life without warning, blocked him everywhere, changed passwords, moved out while he was at work. Before I left, I did one last thing. I unlocked his phone, opened the calendar, both lives visible, placed it on the counter, and left. Daniel called non-stop. Texts turned into voicemails. Apologies, layered with excuses. I was confused. I didn't want to lose either of you. I never meant to hurt you. Intent doesn't disappear just because someone regrets consequences. Maya left him too, quietly. No public drama, no explanations. Daniel lost both lives in one day. Not because we planned revenge, but because truth collapses, lies, instantly. Weeks later, he sent one final message. I never meant to hurt you. That sentence is always a lie, because intention isn't about emotion. It's about behavior. Valentine's Day was perfect, because perfection exposed everything, and the truth gave me my life back. This is The X-Files. Some love stories don't end. They reveal. Format, ***. Just tell me the next move.